unity, stability, and social protection.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlsf.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in the nation. I'm your fill-in host for today, Jokal Dyer. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or you can join us via the Love 101 app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, rather. You can also check us out on Love 101 FM, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. In the main watch today, the Joe Biden impeachment inquiry and what it means. In the second watch, is anywhere safe for a hygienic to eat or buy food? Is there anywhere like that? We're going to be talking about that in the second watch. And in our social media question, we asked today, how often do you eat out and what determines where you buy your food? So again, how often do you eat out and what determines where you buy your food? Share your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. Keep your voice notes 30 seconds or less. Thank you so much. So we'll share your comments later on in the program, but first, here is today's I quote. History shows that when the church accommodates culture, it weakens it. History shows that when the church accommodates culture, it weakens it. And this I quote is from Rick Warren. So I just want to say good morning again to all those who are joining us here and abroad. Everybody listening on the FM band 101.1, 357, and 9. Normally you'd be hearing Mr. Stokeley Marshall, but I'm filling in for right now. You're listening to Love 101, the family station. We're going to take a break, and then we come back with some more. The main watch will be back after this break.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Heroes Day, Monday, October 16, 2023, and will reopen on a Tuesday, October 17 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for the period Friday, October 13 through to Tuesday, October 17 should be submitted by 12 noon on Thursday, October 12, 2023, and obituaries and notices by 1:30 p.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours a peaceful and reflective Heroes Day.
Another World of Worship Wednesday is coming your way inside Alive 1 to 5 October 11, packed with worship, fun, and information. Stick around for the brain testing exercise at 1:45. Prayer Blast will come your way at 2 o'clock. More prayer, more power. 2:15 we'll have Worship Artist of the Day. At 3 p.m. inside the Drama House, we bring you a special treat. All this and more will come alive 1 to 5 this World of Worship Wednesday, October 11, with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One, on the family station, Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
And we're back inside the morning watch on Love 101, the family station, the number one gospel station in the nation. It's now 7:07 a.m. And today, in the first watch, we're going to be talking to the impeachment inquiry. So, a formal impeachment inquiry led by the Republican Party against US President Joe Biden claims the unearthing of a culture of corruption that is surrounding the president. Now, what does this mean? Today, our guest for the first watch is none other than Dr. Wayne West, the chairman for the Coalition for a Healthy Society. Dr. West, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and good morning to you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So today we're going to be talking about the impeachment inquiry. So let's first off, for those who don't know what this is, what is the inquiry? What does it mean?
Okay, well, an impeachment is really an accusation by the U.S. House of Congress. In the United States, there is what they call the House of Congress. It's really divided into two. One is what we would call our MPs. So that they usually refer to that as the House. And then there is another department, or as it were, called the Senate, which would be equivalent sort of to our Senate. So in an impeachment, the House, which is the MPs, the people who represent the people directly, their business, and the things that MPs would do in Jamaica, they make an accusation against the president. And if that accusation, if the majority in the House vote for that accusation, that it is true or that it should be passed, then the president would have been impeached. So an impeachment really is just an accusation. But the trial now will take place in the Senate. So in the Senate, they will the evidence will be presented and so. And then if the Senate decides that you are guilty, then you are removed from office. So what has happened is that there are certain accusations against President Joe Biden. And the House needs first to inquire into those accusations. And that's what the impeachment inquiry is about. And then depending on what the inquiry reveals, he may or may not be impeached, and a trial set to take place in the Senate.
I see. So has it been noted or even said what the impeachment, not the impeachment, but the cause for the impeachment? Were those unethical things said? What did he do? Was that stated in any document?
Yes, and in fact, a lot of this is in the media, but we need to put a little context into things like impeachment. These are politicians doing political things. Okay, so the president is a political entity because he's voted in by people, and the houses of Congress are also political entities. So we have to understand, just to put a little context into what is happening here, then I will tell you the specifics.
Correct.
is that the USA is divided into, the USA is a very divided country. It's divided into progressives and conservatives. And by progressives, we mean the people who support the new things like anybody who identify like a woman, they can be a woman. So the whole LGBT agenda and the feminist agenda. And the DNC is the party of the progressives. The more conservative people, the Republican Party is the party of the conservatives. And Donald Trump is particularly the leader of that conservative wing of the Republican Party. So there's a lot of bitterness and a lot of hostility between the people in the USA who have these different political ideologies. And you may be aware, for example, that Donald Trump selected, he selected persons who have a conservative perspective to the bench of the US Supreme Court. And those persons voted to remove Roe versus Wade, which is something that the progressives hold on to. So Donald Trump is not liked by the progressives in America. In fact, he's despised and they see him as a threat. And the people who are progressive in America are people like the secular universities like Harvard, media houses, and businesses. So they didn't like Trump and they impeached him. We don't need to go into detail. But what that did is that the Republicans, once they took over the majority in the House, they determined that they were going to impeach Joe Biden to retaliate. Some of them, not all of them, this is generalization. So it's a kind of a tit for tat. So really, impeachment should really be a very considered and serious thing. But in a sense, it has become a political thing where the Democrats didn't like Donald Trump, so impeached him. So some Republicans are saying, look, we from the time they got in and took over the majority of the House, they decided they were going to impeach Joe Biden as well. So that is one context for the issue. But you can't just impeach somebody. You must have some consideration. And the issues that the Republicans have been presented is that President Joe Biden has a son. His name is Hunter Biden.
Yes.
He has some personal problems. He was, I don't know if he still is, but he certainly was a coke addict. But nonetheless, he was given lots of money by companies in countries outside of the United States for doing what nobody can really say. Like, for example, he was given a job in a Russian and a Ukrainian company called Burisma. And they were paying him something like about $4 million to sit on their board. But he had no expertise that justified that amount of money on the board.
Right.
In addition, it was found that he received that the whole Biden family, because it's not only himself, Hunter, but his uncle by the name of Jim, and one of Joe Biden's granddaughter, and they received over $20 million in payments from China, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Russia, and Romania. So the question is, what were they selling that justify somebody paying them $20 million? US dollars.
Yes.
And not only would they pay that, but it's the manner in which they will pay that. They will pay those sums of money using about 20 different what they call shell companies. These are companies to hide the tracing the money. And Hunter himself got $7 million of that. He also, after a discussion with another set of people, was given a Porsche. So the question is, what exactly was Hunter selling? And the Republicans believe that what Hunter was selling was access to Joe Biden when he was the vice president of the United States, for him to influence US policy for people like Burisma. And in fact, there's an accusation that Burisma, that Ukrainian company, actually paid Hunter $5 million and Joe Biden himself $5 million for Joe Biden, who was then vice president, to cause the Ukrainian government, to fire a prosecutor, someone who is like an investigator, like our integrity commission, that sort of thing, to fire an investigator who was tracking the corruption by Burisma. And that person was in fact fired. And Joe Biden is on television saying that he was firing the person. Of course, he didn't give the corruption at Burisma being investigated as a reason. He said that the prosecutor himself was corrupt. But the problem for Joe Biden is that
Before you get into that problem, we have a quick break to take. So we're going to take the break and then we come back with some more. All right. You're listening to Love 101, the family station. We're going to take a break and come back to this very interesting conversation and information that Dr. West is giving to us this morning. So let's take a break and then we come back with some more.
Do you have questions about the availability of medication from your drugstore pharmacist? Ask your pharmacist. Contact the NHF to find out more. The time by the NHF is
7:16 and 40 seconds.
My boss, me, man. Greetings from your future self. Just to make you know that the things work out as we planned back in the day. We get the car we did always want. I can't complain about retirement. Nah, lie.
Start planning early with a Jane Individual Retirement Scheme. Retirement lasts longer than you think.
One piece of advice. Take some picture while we still have hair on we head.
Do your future a favor. Make sure you're in a position to enjoy retirement. Contact Jane Life Insurance today.
Excuse me, sir. How much patty you are buying?
Me no know.
Me think you should buy 5.
Why? Why me fi buy 5?
Could you see patty have a cheesy surprise?
When you buy any 5 juicy patties, you can cheese it up for free.
Yeah, all 5 patty full of cheese. And it's anchor cheese, you know. And did I tell you it's only for the month of October? So you better run go down there fast. Right now. Cheese! Cheese it up. Upgrade 5 patty to cheese for free today. At any juicy patty island-wide.
Conditions apply.
GPS. Keep it cool, keep it cool.
Summertime hot, but we have all the tools.
Keep it cool, keep it cool.
No place to see it, you just have to choose. Out of the fridge, just use a big glue. Remember your Kisco ice and the juice.
If an AC combo, yeah, hit that AC if you have it, then up and after that.
Keep it cool, keep it cool.
This summer JPS have all the tools.
Keep you cool with JPS.
Download the JPS app today.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Embrace the Promise, the Worship Edition, Night 1, Friday, October 20. Free admission worship conference with Ron Canoli and O'Neill Watson, 7 p.m. Torrington Wesleyan Holiness Church, Strathbogie. Night 2, Saturday, October 21 at 6 p.m. The paid event at Manning's High School with Dr. KJ, Ron Canoli, Sonny Badu, O'Neill Watson, and more. Pre-sold 4,000 at the gate, 5,000. VIP pre-sold 6,000 at the gate, 8,000. Now, Fontana and the South Sea Pharmacies.
Once upon a time, there's a girl named Kay. She loved to dance and play. One day at school, she got very ill, and Mom was left with an unbearable bill. It would be easier if Mom was prepared. With School Companion, 80% of the bill is cleared. Medical care for children is a must for as low as $2,400 per month. Make unbearable medical bills go away. Sign up for Surgical School Companion today.
And we're back inside the Morning Watch right here on the family station, Love 101. If you are just joining us, we are speaking with Dr. Wayne West, and he is the chairman of the Coalition for a Healthy Society. We're talking about the impeachment inquiry and what that means. Dr. West, you were on your train of thought just now. Can you continue on that line of thought?
Right. So the issue is that the Republicans, as I said, there is a political perspective in which they would want to impeach Joe Biden. Let me just back up a little bit and say that Donald Trump's first impeachment was because he was making inquiries into this same alleged corruption by the Bidens in Ukraine. And the Democrats said, well, he not only was making inquiries into it, he was seeking to compromise Joe Biden. But I think that there is a lot of information about Joe Biden in Ukraine that really needs to be exposed. And one of the things, as I said, it is said that the head of Burisma actually paid Joe Biden and Hunter Biden $5 million each to get rid of this prosecutor. So one of the things that the inquiry is seeking to determine is whether this is in fact true. Because Joe Biden claimed that the prosecutor was fired because he was corrupt. But information, documents in the Obama White House, of which Joe Biden was the vice president, just months before the prosecutor was fired, said that the Obama White House, the Obama administration, were very happy with the work that he's doing. And they didn't mention any corruption. Mm-hmm. So that is a little, it doesn't agree. It doesn't align up with what is supposed to be official. The other thing is that during the presidential campaign, Joe Biden denied any knowledge of what Hunter was doing or of having any associations with the Hunter's business people. But pictures and telephone conversations and emails and so on have come up showing that Biden wasn't speaking the truth. He, in fact, knew about Hunter's business associates. Right. Another concerning thing is that Joe Biden operated about 3 other email accounts that didn't have his name, using pseudonyms. And in some of those emails, he was found to be discussing, certain questionable things with Hunter. I would mention one other thing. Hunter Biden had a laptop which he gave to someone to fix, and that person, they should not have, but they did. That person scrolled through the content of the laptop and found some concerning things. And he shared those concerns with the FBI, but the FBI did nothing about his concerns for almost 5 years. So he subsequently shared it with Rudy Giuliani, who is a Trump lawyer, affiliated lawyer. And Rudy Giuliani started leaking stuff to the media. But in that laptop was information that showed that Joe Biden was in fact compromised. And but like I said, the FBI did nothing about it. So, yes. And not only that, 50 persons in the American intelligence agency came out and said the laptop was fake. It was in fact what they call Russian disinformation. But it's not true. The laptop turned out to be true, and the FBI was dragging their feet on it. And not only that, earlier this year, some whistleblowers came and spoke in front of the House of Congress and told the Republicans, told the House of Congress that the Justice Department was intentionally dragging their feet on issues related to Hunter Biden. So there is this concept of official corruption supporting the Bidens, and then there is this external evidence that Hunter was getting money for doing what? Lots of money for doing what appeared to be selling his father's influence overseas. So this is where we are, the Congress, and I think they are right. There is enough circumstantial evidence there to ask some questions. And depending on the answers they get to those questions, they will then impeach President Biden, meaning make a formal accusation against him, or just abandon the inquiry and say, well, look, we don't have enough evidence to do that. So that is the state of play at the moment. I think that there is a lot that the American people should be interested in, because one of the accusations is that a bank in China, and China is an enemy of the USA. Exactly. A bank in China gave Hunter a lot of money to do what? You have to ask those questions. Why would a bank in China give Hunter millions of dollars?
Right.
Just because they like him, or is because he's buying influence with his father?
What I
So
want to
that
ask,
is
yeah, before you move on to that point, so basically, all this money is being given to Hunter, and nobody can explain why Hunter is getting this amount of money. And also, what I want to ask, what are the implications if he is in fact impeached?
Well, if he is impeached, it will go to the Senate. And again, the Senate consists of politicians, and I think that the Democrats have the majority in the Senate. So if it goes to the Senate, the Democrats would say he's not guilty, just as in the case of Trump. The Republicans had the majority in the Senate, and they said he was not guilty. I don't think Trump was guilty. I think that I have a feeling that the Democrats may have been hiding just these considerations that are coming up with Joe Biden, and didn't want Trump to touch them. But like I say, I think if it goes to the Senate I think they have a 1-seat majority or something like that in the Senate. The Senate is going to say Joe is not guilty, so that will be the end of the matter. But the thing is, and this is where media really comes in. Whether he is impeached, yes or no, it's important for the American people to know these things and to understand the person who is in their White House, and for them to get information about his conduct. But the media, as I say, is very much divided into progressive and conservative. Most media in America and internationally are progressive. So they are not covering this at all. So you will probably not hear this information in local media in Jamaica.
Right. So
and you will not.
It's a futile exercise then, because nothing is coming from it. As you just said, they're going to say he's not guilty, and then he's just going to, that's it. He's going to continue running, and that's it. So nothing is going to come from it, basically.
No. Nothing may come from the official system, and people. You may not hear anything from the official media, but these things, and that's why social media comes in, because people are sharing this information on social media. That's how the person like myself, although they are sharing it on social media, and so you can, the first thing you have to recognize is that media do not provide truth unadulterated. Media presents you with what they would like you to hear and the perspective they want you to take. So what citizens have to do is to use media, because Fox is more right-wing, CNN is totally left-wing, so you're not going to hear this on CNN at all. And then listen carefully to social media, discern what's happening, and if some of the mainstream media give you any information, they will be seeking to defend Joe Biden rather than present the evidence in a neutral way. But the information is out there, and it would affect how people see the president.
Right. Well, you've given us a wealth of knowledge on this topic in terms of the impeachment, and you basically broke it down exactly for those who don't know. Today, Dr. West, you basically explained it, very well for those who may not have known what this is all about. Thank you so much for being a part of the Morning Watch today, and thank you for taking time to give us this, breakdown of what the impeachment inquiry is and what it means. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe. All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much. All the best. Same to you.
Thank you so much. That was Dr. Wayne West. He is the chairman of the Coalition. Coalition for a Healthy Society. You're listening to Love 101, the family station. We're going to take a break, and then we come back with the news headlines after this. You're tuned to Love 101. This is the Morning Watch. We want to thank the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for sponsoring the Morning Watch today, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
Anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by Jan Bank is
7:30.
Follow Grace Sardine. Follow the better flavor. Grace Sardine with the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with pepper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarkets, everybody sell it. Do all of them nice. Pass the park, make push it.
Grace Sardines, follow the better flavor. When you say Fosrich, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say Fosrich, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say Fosrich, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Fosrich is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Fosrich. NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
To be an Olympic champion, you have to train every day. Spikes, gears, bag, forgetting hydration, seatbelt. With my training routine, GKG Online saves me plenty of time. It's the fastest and easiest way to get a quote for your motor insurance coverage. GKG Online, that's it. Yes, really. Click, that's it. It's faster than a 110 hurdle race.
Visit gkgonline.com today.
Jamaica. Let's come together to celebrate a proud heritage. This Heritage Week, October 10 to 16. Highlights will include National Heritage Week Church Service, Bethel Temple Apostolic Church in Maypen, Sunday, October 15 at 10 a.m. Ceremony of Investiture of National Honors and Awards, Monday, October 16 at 8 a.m. National Heroes Day Concert, Monday, October 16 at 5 p.m. Most events will be broadcast live on TVJ, CVM, IRI FM, and social media platforms. Heritage Week 2023, celebrating a proud heritage, resilient and strong.
Meet your trusted insurance agent from General Accident Insurance Company, Kadeen Williamson. You deserve personalized attention when you get insurance. Kadeen Williamson, an agent of change for better customer care and experience. Contact us at Suite Number 7, Sun Village Plaza, 6 North Racecourse Road, Mandeville. Call 876-616-1723 or 563-1020. Email williamsonc@genac.com. From General Accident Insurance Company.
And we are back inside the Morning Watch right here on the family station Love 101. Time is now 7:33 a.m. Now let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing in the major daily newspapers this morning. According to the Jamaica Gleaner, $200 million more for Jamaica's dengue fight. St. Catherine man accused of abducting woman. He offered ride, granted $200,000 bail. This is according to the Loop Jamaica News now. Bus and taxi fare increase announced, but no hike for JUTC. And as for the Jamaica Observer, Gaza's only power plant has run out of fuel, according to authorities in the Palestinian territory. This is another news we'll talk about later in the latest news updates at 9 a.m. But for now, I'm encouraging you to ensure that you answer the social media question. We're going to be reading some of the feedback from that question from Facebook and YouTube and also WhatsApp. So please just send your messages, all right? The question is, how often do you eat out and what determines where you buy your food? If you haven't done so yet, leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and you can also WhatsApp us at 876-997-3125 to send your responses. We're going to take a quick break and then we come back with the second watch. You're listening to The Morning Watch.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Heroes Day, Monday, October 16, 2023, and will reopen on a Tuesday, October 17 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for the period Friday, October 13 through to Tuesday, October 17 should be submitted by 12 noon on a Thursday, October 12, 2023, and obituaries and notices by 1:30 p.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours a peaceful and reflective Heroes Day.
Another World of Worship Wednesday is coming your way inside Alive 1 to 5 October 11. Packed with worship, fun, and information. Stick around for the brain testing exercise at 1:45. Prayer Blast will come your way at 2 o'clock. More prayer, more power. 2:15 we'll have worship artist of the day. At 3 p.m. inside the Drama House, we bring you a special treat. All this and more will come alive 1 to 5 this World of Worship Wednesday, October 11, with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One, on the family station, Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Meet your trusted
Welcome back to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM, the family station. We're going to read some of the feedback from the question we asked today. How often do you eat out, and what determines where you buy your food? Now, from WhatsApp, Sister Ingrid says, "Good morning. I stopped eating out a long time ago. Only places I eat now are church, weddings, and a little get-together." We're also encouraging you to send your responses also on our WhatsApp line 876-997-3125. But thank you so much, Sister Ingrid, for sending in your response today. We now segue into the second watch, and the topic is anywhere safe or hygienic to eat or buy food? Our guests for this watch, or the guest that we have so far, is Mr. Calvin Bennett, who is a chef / manager of MB Restaurant. Good morning, Mr. Calvin. How are you doing today?
Thanks. It's here another day.
Amazing. I'm really excited to have you on this morning, Mr. Bennett. And we are trying to have our second guest. He's trying to log in as we speak, Mr. Franklin McKnight, who is a journalist. So, Mr. Calvin, I want you to talk to me about your restaurant, MB Restaurant. What inspired you to become a chef, first of all, and then get into, becoming who you are today, a manager of MB Restaurant?
Well, I would say that it is a family tradition. I grew up seeing my father, cousin operating restaurant, and I have a passion for food, right? My aim is to provide good nutritional foods at an affordable rate. So that is what helped drive me to be a part of the food and restaurant business.
Yes. Amazing. So, from our favorite street side vendor or market lady to the small cook shop or fancy restaurant, how do we know we're being served by persons observing Ministry of Health guidelines? What of those persons, without permits, and those food spots where there are no visible bathrooms? So these are questions that we're all asking. Now, I want you to, answer this. What is the reality of being a food service provider?
Well, the reality is one, hygiene is one of the most important things that we need to take in consideration.
Most definitely.
And when we talk about hygiene, it's not about just the area or the environment that we work in. It's first has to start with our personal hygiene. And when you look at our personal hygiene, then it will automatically flows into our environment, right? And if we're having doubts about establishment, you can ask the manager, or, well, you do have to ask, because you should have a certification from the Ministry of Health, the health department, stating
Right.
that you are certified and all the requirements are met for you to operate in the food and beverage industry. So once you enter an establishment and you don't see that pink certificate or that green and white certificate, then that could be a red flag for
Mhm.
you to make a decision whether you want to take the chance or you want to you know
Yes.
partake from this restaurant or cook shop, so to speak.
And that is how and that is how we know we're being served by persons observing the guidelines because they would have that pink certificate.
Yes, and the Ministry of Health will normally come periodically to do their checks. So
Yes.
it's not a one-off situation where they come one time and you don't see them until the next year when the certificate needs to be renewed,
Yes.
right? So it's a periodical check. So that keeps the business intact, in check to ensure that all the guidelines are followed
Mhm.
throughout the period in which you are certified for.
Understood, understood. We now have Mr. Franklin McKnight, a veteran journalist and presenter of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast on YouTube. Mr. McKnight, good morning. How are you doing today?
Morning, sir. I'm wonderful. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So we're talking about, the issue of is anywhere safe or hygienic to eat or buy food. We all know what happened recently, and boy, may I tell you, it's very, very, very interesting what we all had to see. So I was asking, Mr. Bennett, the first question was, what is the reality of being a food service provider? Could you speak to that? What is that reality of that food service provider?
Well, I think the main responsibility for protecting the population largely would be on the health department,
Yes.
the public health department in particular. And it seems to me that we have been failing in large part and large measure in this area. The infrequency with which many of these establishments are checked, and I think that's not because of any wickedness of the public health department, but because
Right.
of the resources that are available to them. I noticed that uh, the Minister of Health yesterday said that there will be 500 new placements for public health inspectors in short order, which just tells you how short and how bad. And they've been talking about the establishment remaining at the same number for years. So it's clear, especially when we look at street food establishments, that the checks are not being done, monitoring is not taking place, and no sanctions are being applied.
Yes, most definitely. I was just gonna ask you, my second question, what are the shortcomings in the system and how can they be fixed? So you did mention that, there was a lack of, health inspectors in most places, not a fault of the, or wickedness of the health ministry, but just, it was not being done, if efficiently and sometimes is once per year or none at all. So these are some of the shortcomings. Now, Mr. Bennett, do customers contribute to the problems and how? It seems as if
Sir,
he froze. All right, so I see where you froze on my end, but I was just asking you, do customers contribute to the problems and and how do they do that? If they do.
well, for my restaurant,
Yeah.
I don't see where the customer contributes because once you put the necessary bins in place for getting, rid of the waste, like the
Right.
boxes and stuff like that, and that is being carried out every evening after we lock up. So if it's a case where it is where does you know, a roadside or a outdoor
Right, a
cook
corner
shop,
shop
so to
or
speak, a
yes.
corner shop, well, if persons don't consider the environment and they eat and they do whatever and they just throw it down and just, keep the area in such a way that is unhygienic, then you will have a problem there.
Yes.
And if the person who in charge of the area not ensuring that they take the necessary precaution to ensure that this is what I'm about, and you can't be carrying yourself like this, and you can't throw your garbage or whatever like this. So in that aspect, they can and they cannot, in some
Yes.
regards, contribute.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. It's we're up on our final break for the show, so we're gonna take a quick break and then we come back with some more. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Bennett and Mr. McKnight. We are just gonna take a break and then we come back with some more. You're listening to the Morning Watch right here on the Family Station, Love 101.
Praise sardine for the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with pepper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarkets, everybody
Praise sardines, follow the better flavor.
The time is
7:45 and 20 seconds.
Excuse me, sir. How much patty you are buying?
Me no know.
Me think you should buy 5.
Why? Why me fi buy 5?
Could you see patty have a cheesy surprise?
When you buy any 5 juicy patties, you can cheese it up for free.
Yeah, all 5 patty, full of cheese. And it's anchor cheese, you know. And did I tell you it's only for the month of October? So you better run go down there fast. Right now, cheese! Cheese it up. Upgrade 5 patties of cheese for free today. At any juicy patty, island-wide. Conditions apply.
Take a good look at your Sagicor Bank credit card. Do you see the Acropolis of Athens? The picture-perfect beaches of Crete? Use your Sagicor Bank credit card and you could discover the magic of Greece. Get a chance to win a luxury trip for 2 to Greece when you spend with your Sagicor Bank Gold and Platinum credit card until November 25, 2023. The more you spend, the more chances to discover Greece. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Visit Sagicor.com to learn more. NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Do you have a heart condition? Your care should be in the hands of our experienced cardiovascular team at Partners Interventional Center of Jamaica. We're one of the leading heart centers for angiogram, stenting, pacemakers, EP studies, and ablation therapy. PICJ has the expertise and latest technology to treat all your heart needs. Call 876-995-7425 or email info@pic-jm.com for appointments. PICJ, your partners for life.
Planning to sit the January CXC CSEC exams privately? Register with Overseas Examinations Commission before the registration deadline, October 13, 2023. Visit our Kingston office or Montego Bay office to complete your application form or send an email to help@overseasexams.org.jm. Follow our social media pages at Overseas Exams for more details. Remember, if you plan to sit the January CXC CSEC exams privately, the registration deadline is October 13, 2023.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&M Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&M Bank will help you find a way.
We are back inside the Morning Watch right here on the Family Station, Love 101. And in the second watch, the topic is anywhere safe or hygienic to buy or eat food? Now, we all know, we all have seen, we know exactly what has happened recently out by Crab Circle. And it has raised questions about public health, public safety. There has been questions about whether the person who recorded the video was right, was wrong. You know, why were there no bathrooms out there? And, you know, those are some of the shortcomings that we see presenting themselves from this scenario. Now, for the persons who have permits, Mr. Bennett, could you allude to I mean, really quickly, you don't have to get into the specifics, but for somebody who doesn't know how to acquire one of those permits, how is that done, or what is that process like?
The food
The food handler's permit. Seems as if he is
Bangla's permit.
frozen.
It is simple.
Yes, go
Hear me
ahead. Go
now?
ahead. Yes.
Yeah, yes. It is simple as going down to the health department down by Crossroad,
Mm.
and you get a form. You complete the form. You get a date to do an exam. So it's a written/oral exam,
Yes.
right? Upon completing that exam, you would get a slip.
All right. It seems as if you're having a bit of technical difficulties, Mr. McKnight. Let's throw this question to you in terms of the situation out by Crab Circle. What was
Even
your
if
stance on
you're
it
a
in terms
homemaker,
of
you can go do the test, see what it's all
having that?
about, just to be certified.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Dar, I think that you have mentioned some of the issues that have been raised, and one of the sad things would be for the country to progress from this situation, to just continue from this situation without learning, without taking away, learning and changing anything. Not just about Crab Circle now, because there are going to be changes there, but about food handling and sale
Yes, in
broadly
general.
across the country.
Yes, most definitely.
Because you see, sir, we do have a superstructure
Okay,
that
go
was
ahead.
set up to deal with these health concerns. We do have that structure. For example, the municipal corporations or parish councils do suspend standing orders every one of their meetings and sit as a board of health. They are also responsible for looking after the food security, for the situation with food sales on the streets. And if we don't get around to dealing, for example, with that food handlers permit, which is insufficient, the more public sanitary conveniences and running water at food stalls on the road, we would not have learned anything from Crab Circle.
Yes, most definitely. Mr. Bennett, you were alluding to the process earlier before you were interrupted by the Wi-Fi problem or whatever. But let's talk to the fact of the food handler's permit. How is this acquired? How can you get this? Mm-hmm. All right, so there's a bit of technical difficulties on Mr. Bennett.
It is simple.
So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna continue the conversation with Mr. McKnight until we can get get it to be smooth. All right, but anyway, Mr. Franklin. Speaking of your podcast, you being a part of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast.com, that means that you don't mince your words. Your words are not meant.
I do not, sir. I try to go for truth and for some things which will improve our lovely island.
How are some ways in which this can be amended and can be fixed in terms of
Well,
what we happen?
first of all, sir, we need some more and a commitment from the public health department. We need them to be properly staffed and funded. But then we need the public health commitment to check on these food stalls. There's a great deal of informality in Jamaica, and somebody just goes out there and puts it. You don't know what sort of preparation, what sort of care you see, what sort of sanitary conditions that food is prepared. And people are buying food like this all over the country. Now, one simple thing that could be done, is for an approved stamp or symbol to be had from the public health department. Not just that you have a food handler's permit, which is an which is not enough to show that their facilities are good. Because as Mr. Davis was saying, it's just something you apply for and you go fill out a form and you get. But rather, it is for public health authorities, the inspectors, well-trained, all of them, well-trained, well-deployed, to establish that when you see my soup pot on the corner, you can establish that I have running water, that I prepared it in proper conditions, etc., or my jerk chicken pan. That doesn't happen now. You cannot see a stand and know that it is compliant, and therefore that you can go there and feel safe and secure in what you buy.
Exactly, because you just don't know. And my final question is, how can the customer tell if a place is safe to eat or buy, or how to protect themselves? Because sometimes we go to some places, and by the time you look at it, say, boy, this not right. And normally it is, it is a running, joke, especially on social media, that when the restaurant is run down, that is when the food is the best. But that is not something that should even be normal.
And you are quite correct, and we shouldn't try to get rid of our embarrassment by those stupid jokes. But the
Right.
point is that right now you don't know that there are restaurants which are properly set up inside, where the public health department gives them a certificate which they can put up on a wall, and they do. And those restaurants come under regular pressure of the
Yes.
public health departments, and rightly so, in meeting the condition. But what I'm saying to you is that when you look at the conditions on the road, you don't know. And we must get to a stage where some basic conditions are required, so that when you stop at a place, you can look at something
Yes.
on post and whatever to see this is a regulated and properly sanctioned food place. No, we don't have that. And even some of the places where our food is being prepared in, which are internal, are not proper either. And we must be honest about it.
Yes. And that is very true. Mr. Bennett is back with us. What I can say as well is that even my corner shop where I am from, she has her permit up on the wall, and it is up there, pasted, framed up. So is it that a permit is not enough, or is it that the permit is not even important because they're working without the permit? They're selling, they're making food. Nobody not really press them. There's nobody coming to inspect. So is it that the permit is not even enough? What do you have to say about that, Mr. Bennett? Is it that the permit is not even important to get? Why a lot of persons are not even going for it or just selling without it?
I would say the permit is not important. It's more enforcing from
Yes.
from the health department section, because you see, once you have enforcement, persons will
Mm.
now have to make the effort in getting the premises up to standard so that they can be certified. So it is more enforcement on the health department side, I would say.
Yes. And people do what they can get away with. People do what once they're not being pressed about it, they do it. So I love how we're segueing into the fact that we just all, well, not we, but the public health authorities would just need to put a bit more strictness, I'd say, stick to itiveness, in terms of ensuring that these places are up to standard. Even the little corner shop, the one that sell the soup on the roadside, at least should have one of those permits, because we really don't know. Thinking about it now, since this is all about, well, not this conversation, but since it's all about crab circle, or what happened, let's think about it. We don't see running water out there. We have never seen running water, through a pipe. I've been there before, never seen it, and we've never seen restrooms. So it begs the question: how did we not realize or recognize that something not right? Something not right. So, Mr.
And,
Franklin,
and my thing is that we
yes.
must make the next step. Why did we recognize it? But we must also say there are many situations like this across the country, and we must
Yes.
learn from it and change the behavior, our behavior, and the way the public health department deals with these things.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you both for coming on to the program today. Mr. Calvin Bennett, the chef and manager of MB Restaurant, and also Mr. Franklin McKnight, who is a veteran journalist and presenter of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast on YouTube. Thank you both for your thoughts and your comments, and I do wish you a great rest of your day, all right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
thank you
thanks for
very
listening.
much for
All right,
having us.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Franklin, and thank you so much for joining us today. You're listening to, well, that was the Morning Watch today. Thank you to the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for sponsoring today's conversations. In the first watch, we spoke about the impeachment inquiry, and in the second watch, we just wrapped talking about, the importance of, getting that, document in terms of the permit. And also the question was asked, how often do you eat out, and what determines where you buy your food. Thank you so much for listening to the Morning Watch. I am Jakal Dyer, filling in for your regular host, Mr. Stokeley Marshall, and I do wish you a great rest of your day. Thanks again to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security for sponsoring the Morning Watch. Have an amazing day, everybody. We continue with Love in the Morning right here on the family station, Love 101. Big up to our producer, Kathy Reed. Big up to Stokely Marshall. He's okay, everybody. We heard from him. He is okay. So we thank God for that. And big up again to our producer, Kathy Reed. We jump straight into Forward in Faith, brought to you by the New Testament Church of God in Bayside, Portmore.